Good afternoon, everyone. On the behalf of organizing committee, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the online session of International Conference on Technology Integration in Management, Enhancing Efficiency and Innovation. We are honored to have such a distinguished gathering of guests and dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, and enthusiastic students joining us today. In this digital era where technology bridges the distance and connects the mind, we are excited to leverage this online platform to continue our discussions and knowledge sharing. Your presence and participation in this virtual space reflect your commitment to advancing the field of technology and management, and we are grateful for your engagement. A special welcome to our esteemed guests and dignitaries who have graced us with their presence. Your insight and contributions are invaluable, and we look forward to the enriching perspective you will bring to our discussions. To our dedicated faculty members, thank you for your continued support and guidance in nurturing the next generation of innovators and leaders. As we embark on this virtual journey together, let us embrace the opportunities that technology offers to enhance our understanding, foster collaboration, and drive innovation. Thank you for being here, and let us make this online session as impactful and engaging as our in person meetings. Welcome, and let's make this memorable and productive conference. Now, I would like to call Ms. Isha Gupta, co convener of the conference, to present a welcome note.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to the second session of International Conference on Technology Integration in Management. Thank you, team ICTIM, for providing me this opportunity. I, Isha Gupta, faculty IITM, extend heartfelt greeting to all guests, dignitaries, faculty members, and dear students for joining us today. Your presence underscores a shared commitment to advancing the realm of technology and management, and we are truly honored by your participation. I extend a warm welcome to our first keynote speaker, Dr. Monica Chaudhary, Deputy Director and Associate Professor at SP Jain School of Global Management. Her extensive experience and profound expertise in global management education help in shaping the future of business leaders across the globe. Ma'am has marked significant contributions to the field of management through her research, training, and leadership. Ma'am, we welcome you. It's my pleasure to welcome our next speaker, Ms. Ankita Joshi, Vice President of Finance at Lightspeed India Partners. Ma'am brings a wealth of experience and expertise in finance, having played a crucial role in driving financial strategies and growth for one of the leading venture capital firm in the country. Her deep understanding of financial management, strategic planning, and investment has been instrumental in supporting numerous startups and enterprises to achieve their full potential. Ma'am will share some cases of startups where her company helped them to become the brands. We are honored to have you with us today. I would like to welcome our next speaker, Mr. Rishabh Jetwan, Vice President Analytics at Goldman Sachs, one of the world leading investment banks and financial services company. His expertise in data science has been instrumental in driving key strategic initiatives and innovations. IITM wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. As we all are connected through our technology today, through our Zoom platform, so we will have more insights with our speakers address that how IT can be integrated with the management, be it finance, IT, HR, and all these streams. So in the present scenario, the technology integration in any field become the key to success. Bill Gates once quoted, "The advance of technology is based on making it fit in so that you don't really even notice it. So it's a part of everyday life." With this note, I just want to welcome again Jyoti ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isha ma'am. It is my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker for this online session, Professor Monica Chaudhary. Professor Chaudhary served as the Deputy Director and Associate Professor at SP Jain School of Global Management, an esteemed institution with campuses in Dubai, Mumbai, Singapore, and Sydney. Her extensive experience and profound expertise in global management education have made her a pivotal figure in shaping the future of business leaders across the globe. Professor Chaudhry's illustrious career is marked by significant contribution to the field of management through her research, teaching, and leadership. She has adeptly navigated the complexities of the global business dynamics. At SPGen School of Global Management, she has spearheaded numerous initiatives aimed at fostering a cutting-edge educational environment. Her insights into the intersection of technology and management are particularly relevant in today's rapidly evolving business landscape. We are honored to have you here, ma'am. Join us today even in this virtual setting, to share her invaluable knowledge and experience, please join me in welcoming Professor Monica Chaudhary with a warm round of virtual applause. Monica, ma'am, are you able to share your slide with us? Okay, ma'am, thank you. Over to you. Monica, ma'am, please unmute yourself. We are not able to hear you. Yes, Monica, ma'am, you are audible now. Yes, thank you.
माइक है, उनका माइक है, उनका माइक लगा दो।
And I do expect that you learn a lot about artificial intelligence and how things work. But I still choose to talk about this because I think the application of AI in different phases of management is something still in a very novel stages where a lot of things are happening. I wanted to present something which is more practical, more application oriented rather than theoretical aspect. So this is a little talk about how the next level of management are going to be in a couple of years' time. Maybe much more speedier than what we thought initially it would be. So the future of AI management. Exactly, we are talking about what all we can expect at different phases. So I'll not bore you with a lot of boring stuff with what is AI, but I would like to give you a little bit introduction, for especially for people who are from a non-tech background, and then the application of AI in different parts. So the latest McKinsey report says that the future of AI has to be much more than what the initial calculations were. According to this report, almost 60 countries have now a specific AI-based strategy. So you can imagine how important AI is going to be in future when even the governments, which are supposed to be the late adopters of technology, are going into it. It has been believed that by the year 2300, AI capabilities will overpass or surpass human capabilities. And look at the amount of dollars we can expect the future of AI has to be. And believe me, I'm telling you, this will be much more than what you can see right now in front of the screen. So, future of AI is phenomenal. And just to let you know, what is AI? AI is actually the simulation of how the human mind works. If a computer program can actually copy it, they can learn from humans and then they'll act like humans, they'll think like humans. This is called artificial intelligence. Not going very technical into it, AI has 4 different parts: machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and robotics. Machine learning and deep learning are very similar. Actually, deep learning is a part of machine learning. Machine learning is all about reading the data, trying to find some trends and patterns in that data, and based on this, predicting the demand, predicting the behavior, predicting any other thing that is required. Deep learning is a part of machine learning. The only difference is how deep you are going. If machine learning takes care of thousands of data points, deep learning will be taking billions of data points. So you can imagine how true that deep learning predictions would be. NLP is all about how the interaction between the computers, the programs, and the humans are going to be. You must have taken an example from Alexa, from Google Home, that when we give some instructions in different languages to a computer program, how this program process that information and then do the needful. Lot many things are going on here because not just English, there are so many other languages all throughout the world globally and how it will do this. And the last component is about robotics, how you can actually create a physical object which runs on a program, but they follow your commands. They are able to do so many intricate things which were at some point of time believed as not possible. They are able to move their hands to a much grounded position. They are able to imitate how humans do. They are able to imitate how spiders create web, for example. So there are different ways robotics can work. And all 4 combinedly are the different branches of AI, where the practical applications could be so many. From the level of the different types of AI, we can largely, broadly segregate them into 3: narrow AI, general AI, and super AI. Narrow AI is the very base level. It can perform, a computer program can perform specific tasks. For example, when you have to unlock your phone or mobile phone, it can process your either the biometric or the face recognition. This is the very basic of AI because you have put in all the data about the features of your face. Whenever that face features matches, the camera software recognizes this and it opens the phone. This is the very simple AI. The second level of AI is called general AI, where a computer program has human-like abilities. Like it can solve the problems just like humans do. So what will, for example, you have a couple of investments and you're trying to figure out how much is the risk in this set of investment versus how much is the risk in the second set of investment. So just like humans will process this, a general AI program can process this much faster with less errors in making. The last one is super AI. Super AI can actually surpass human intelligence. And I think very soon we will see something in super AI. Currently, I think it's in the realm of science fiction that something like this can happen. We can teleport ourselves. We can actually see a lot of stuff which is going in a different part of the world. You must have seen this news of a port being opened between, I think, Suez and Ireland, and you can see live what is going on there. So maybe something much more beyond what we can imagine is possible nowadays can happen in super AI. The impact of AI on management has been phenomenal so far, and I can imagine what it's going to be in future. But largely it covers the three parts. One is whatever is the routine task, automate that. So for example, if you want to process a particular data or a particular file in a similar way, you can actually automate a program this. So you don't need humans to open the file, process it, do the spell check, and then rename the file and save it. But a simple program can do it for you, whatever is routine. It can also enhance decision making by knowing a lot of new information, by knowing what exactly are the data points, how it happened, when the last time there was little more rainfall, the agriculture produce was this, can we manipulate this, can we change this? So better decision making means better profitability, higher revenues. And because you are able to predict better, you are able to plan better, the operational efficiency will be much better. There will be less errors, there will be better supply chain. If there is better supply chain, the manufacturing is working well, and the delivery of items, of raw materials, of supplies are going to be perfectly well. So there won't be a time where you don't know how much is going to be demanded, how much is going to be supplied, because everything is going as per the plan. So these are the three broad areas where AI in management can help. Again, there are a couple of other things that we need to see which can actually help in management. For example, data analytics. We all know that data analytics is selling like a hot cake right now. Every other student would love to get into analytics because data science and scientists are high in demand and people would like to hire them because predictive analytics is solving a lot of things. You know, predictive, as we know, predictive is like what we are trying to guess to the best of our understanding what will happen in future. In management, in business, predictive analysis largely means we talk about predicting of sales, predicting of revenue, predicting of demand, predicting of rates, and more such things. Chatbots are another very high representation of AI in management. You must have seen when you log into a website or any other online space, whether it's social media, you can see those little bots coming up and trying to help you. They welcome you, they ask your name. Sometimes they ask you to drop your queries, and then a real person calls you. Sometimes they actually provide you a lot of answers themselves. This could also be done for a routine task. And then, of course, we have virtual assistants like Alexa. Recently, Starbucks also have their own virtual assistant. They can actually take orders of coffee with certain specifications. I want it hot. I want cream on the side. I want cream on the top. I want a little bit of caramel. And humans can make errors. And a virtual assistant can actually help you taking care of all such intricate details with perfect efficiency. Similarly, AI can also help you in simulating scenarios. Another aspect where AI in future you will see that it can actually create different scenarios for the businesses to work and see what if, and to conduct the what if analysis, that if this is what we are going to do now, this would be the potential outcome of this action 5 years down the line. These kind of dummy scenarios can actually help in deciding the actions today. This is also something which could be very phenomenal using AI, because AI can process that much of huge big data, which is actually not possible for human minds to do it. Okay. Uh, Similarly, in manufacturing, the processes could be optimized, the supply chain and logistics could be managed well, the delivery times would be fixed. There might be a scenario where there is no need for the warehouses to stock up the piles of raw material or the finished goods, because then it would be like perfect, just like Japanese technology, JIT, just in time, but without error. Similarly, under customer care, a lot can be happened by doing the automated routine task. That wherever there is a new customer who comes in, these are the 10 steps they have to follow. So instead of human explaining this to the new customer, you have a virtual assistant. And normally it's easy. These are low hanging fruits which are easily possible for the companies to do it, right? I would now like to take you to actually 4 different examples about AI into different industries. I don't know how many of you are from HR background, but AI and recruitment is something that has not been explored much. But when you conduct some research, you conduct some study, you will realize that recruitment is one such phase, one such part of management which is very struggling, because companies are losing out on good people, good resources, because the HR process somehow either takes a lot of time or there's a mismatch. And so the report says that talent acquisition, that means hiring the right candidate, is the third most important function for any firm, because this is where the challenge is. And conventional hiring process is not something which is very fruitful. You submit to a job, the HR person of that place is going to go through your CV. That resume they will go through based on your experience. A human is going to sort this huge pile of resumes, and then probably whatever they think are good, they probably give you a call, and then you're going to come and sit for some kind of aptitude test, knowledge test, and then based on this you might be getting the offer. Look how time taking this is. It would be so difficult for that couple of HR people to actually process thousands of applications. And this is not working. That is why now probably is the time that AI is going to do jobs for us. There have been reports that AI is actually sorting out the resumes for the candidates, especially where the hiring is happening in bulk. That is why the natural tip is to use some of the key words into your resume so that an AI bot can pick your resume based on what is required and the match. Again, simple example of this could be if you log on to your LinkedIn, whatever abilities or whatever your specialization you have mentioned, and if you're looking for a new job, it tries to match. So login of an HR person will see that with this job, this candidate is 70% match, and based on this, the candidate is being called upon from an automated message. So be very smart how you want to do it. It is not going to happen in the future. In a late future, it's very much right now here, right? IBM's AI, it's called Watson, is actually doing this much better than what we thought it could be done, right? Similarly, chatbots could be placed to provide apt feedback for the successful and, more importantly, for the unsuccessful candidates. It has also been observed that one of the problems that failed candidates has with the organization is that no proper communication has been sent to them that, okay, you have been called for this interview, but sorry, you are not being recruited. Nobody gets this mail most of the time. And even if they get this email, no proper reasoning is being given to them that, okay, we were looking for these abilities, and somehow you guys missing it. Just imagine a chatbot coming to you and saying that, sorry, this time you're not being successful in getting this job because we were looking for these 4 points and your resume is missing on these 3 points. How fruitful that would be. And this candidate, even if you have not chosen this person is going with a positive feedback to know what needs to be done to get such kind of jobs. I think this is the need for the hour. It will increase the brand value of the organization, the trust value of the organization, and nobody is left off. They're going to come back once they have that kind of capabilities to this. Another industry where AI is phenomenally a game changer would be tourism. The whole airline industry, hospitality industry, a lot of things are happening with relation to AI in tourism. I try to collate a lot of stuff on this so that I can give you a very presentable picture. In tourism, largely AI will be helpful under 4 categories: forecasting, experience, pricing, and of course promotion. For forecasting, a good AI software can actually help you in forecasting the demand for the hotel rooms, the demand for particular items, the demand for the airline ticket, depending upon the days, month, year, festival, seasons, and whatnot. If a hotel knows that these are the days where I will have more requirement, then I can plan well. Based on this, I can price them well, right? If there is more demand, less supply, price goes up. This is simple economics. And of course, who doesn't know this? That's why you can see that the price trends changes on the weekends. The price trend changes if there is a long weekend coming up or there's a festival or a particular occasion coming up for the different places. So AI can help in forecasting. AI can also help in experience enhancement. There are a lot of things which are going on in augmented reality. I don't know if you have heard of a virtual tour company. And one of my friends shared something about this to me, and I was like laughing. I would not like to go with a virtual tour. Who would love to see Eiffel Tower through a virtual tour? Why not do it in clear, right? But then he gave me a different perspective. He said that, okay, probably you don't, but there are definitely a good percentage of people who would love it. I said, who will love it? It's all about money. If I have money, I'll fly out to Paris and see the Eiffel Tower. He says that many people are disabled. They can't do this. And then suddenly, the whole market opened in front of me that, okay, yes, this could be true for all those people who have some health issues, mobility issues. They can't walk, but they would like to experience what is it to walk around the Eiffel Tower in the night, or how does Taj Mahal look from inside. And virtual tours are in, there is a need for them, right? Similarly, pricing and promotion, AI can actually help a lot. Perfect recommendations. I don't know if you're very active on Make My Trip or TripAdvisor, for example. TripAdvisor.com is a website where people post their reviews, their feedback for different places, totally based on customer. Nobody is getting any money out of it, but it is very effective. They have a strong brand value. Now the hotels come to the website, they say, please run our advertisement because your website has a lot of traction, right? So AI would be a game changer in tourism, definitely, if not, I'll say quite soon, much before than what we thought it would be. The last one, before I come to the example, is AI in education. I'm sure I'm not the one who knows. I'm not the only one who knows that how students and scholars, they all use the ChatGPT and some other versions in their education. And I think this would be a right time to discuss what all AI can do to actually help you and not make it unethical for you, not make it something which is copying and pasting, which is plagiarism or which is copied from AI. It cannot be, right? So I, along with some of my students, were doing some very interesting study about the use of ChatGPT or any other generative AI by studying. The This was a study conducted in Sydney, Australia, so the results could be a little biased. And all those students who are studying currently in college, either graduation or post-graduation, they were the respondents. Surprisingly, almost 66% of the students said they have used AI in their college. That is such a high percentage, 66%. And I'm sure all those who said they're not using it, probably they're just lying. Maybe the real percentage is high. Though some of them believe that it is sometimes difficult to prompt the ChatGPT to exact question what we want. We don't sometimes get what exactly we want. So maybe they need to learn more about what to put as a question so that generative AI can answer as well. Almost 30% of the students believe that AI is actually necessary for students because it has helped them in better understanding of the concepts and theories. I was not expecting this result. I was expecting that they must be using it, but I was not expecting that they actually think they help in better understanding. Or maybe I think it is more convenient that ChatGPT is always there to answer them because some of them miss the lectures. The faculty in me talks about this. Almost 45% of the students felt that with the help of ChatGPT, they are able to save almost 4 to 6 hours per week, which was huge. And almost 60% of them believe that they have increased their academic performance, educational progression, but also the confidence in them, which was a huge plus point for using ChatGPT. See, despite everything, I think ChatGPT is a wonderful tool to explore. I'll not say copy and paste, but to explore for different ideas. The last couple of slides, I'll talk about how AI implementation has been super successful, which has been adopted by some companies which are like quite advanced. Coca-Cola, this is a fantastic brand which talks about all this. So Coca-Cola, they installed customized counters, self-serve soda counters, soda fountains, where they can see actually that people can actually mix and match the different flavors of Coca-Cola. Later on, they took data from that fountain and then they try to find out what people actually want. And this helped Coca-Cola in offering these 2 new flavors. I'm not sure whether in India they have it or not, but here in many other countries you can find flavors like Sprite Cherry because they found that people really like Sprite and Cherry together. So they launched their own new variety of soda. Same go with orange and vanilla flavor, which was not possible if they would not have taken data from that fountain. Another beautiful example is Netflix. I'm sure you all must be watching Netflix. This is somebody's tweet on Twitter, on X. He says that Netflix actually give personal recommendation based on what I like to watch. So Peaky Blinders, I don't know you, all of you, but Peaky Blinders is one of my favorite shows. We know how Cillian Murphy is the main character. But to Paul, because he loves Queen Gambit, he has watched it a number of times. When Peaky Blinders and it's been run on Netflix, on the picture you can see the actress of the Queen Gambit rather than Cillian Murphy. And this is like, okay, I'll give you what you want. I really want you to watch more Netflix because that works well for me. This huge personalization can happen only when AI is capturing every damn thing about you. Another beautiful example is the case of Nutella. Nutella, they were looking to have different kind of packaging. They had a company. The company said that, okay, we are going to use AI. We're going to see what people feel about Nutella, what they like, what they don't like, and based on this, we'll let the program design its own packaging. And then they designed lots of different designs based on AI. And they produced almost 7 million jars with this new packaging, and they were all sold out. People just love this experimentation, right? Another last example is for Sephora. Sephora is a large retail store for makeup brands. They have this virtual AI chatbot, which actually talks like human to you. And makeup females must know this. They are very particular about what kind of shape they like, what kind of look they like. The chat bot is so effective We can also talk about, see, look at this example. They're showing that this is the flower. I love this color of the flower. Can you tell me which lipstick shade will be this? And I can actually help it. That, okay, this is the closest that we can found, which is very similar to what you know. So, my friends, scholars, students, and fellow members, AI is a progressive field. There are two ways to deal with it. One is, of course, to get scared with it, that this should not be done, it will be misused. See, everything which has a use will be misused. But from with this fear, we just cannot stop using it. Instead, we have to educate people, make them more comfortable that this technology won't stop. It would be like, I'm not using it, but rest of them are going to use it. So why not educate people, make them aware, tell them how to use this responsibly, and then technology will progress. This is from my side, Isha and Neha. Thanks a lot again for inviting me. I'm happy to answer any questions if any one of you have any questions for me. I'm currently doing a lot of research related to AI and marketing and consumer behavior, which are my area. I'm happy to collaborate with you. You guys can connect to me on LinkedIn. My name is Dr. Monica Chaudhary. I work with SPJ, Sydney campus. I'm happy to talk to you if I get you of any help. Thank you, Neha.
We sincerely thanks Professor Monica Chaudhary for her enlightening address, and thank you for offering the collaboration and sharing the insight for all of us. And your insight and expertise have greatly enriched our conference. So thank you for sharing your valuable knowledge with us today, ma'am. Thank you. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Mr. Sriram Sampath. He is an SAP. Sorry, there is some change. It is my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker,
One, one, one.
I hope I'm audible to all of you. There was some technical glitch. It is my pleasure to welcome our next speaker, Ms. Ankita Joshi, Vice President of Finance at Lightspeed India Partners. Ma'am brings a wealth of experience and expertise in finance, having played a crucial role in driving financial strategies and growth for one of the leading venture capital firms in the country. Her deep understanding of financial management, strategic planning, and investment has been instrumental in supporting numerous startups and enterprises to achieve their full potential. Ma'am will share some cases of startups where her company helped them to become the brands. We are honored to have you here with us today, ma'am. I would like to have a virtual round of applause for ma'am. Over to you, Ms. Ankita Joshi, ma'am. Ma'am, are you able to share your screen with us? Ankita, ma'am?
Hi, Neha. Thank you for the introduction. I think I won't be sharing the screen today, but I would just like to take this opportunity to, run the audience through what I do and how my journey in a decade and a half has impacted my technology and particularly lately by AI. Thanks to the speaker before me, I think he set up a brilliant context around how AI is kind of interfering in our daily life in every sector that we see today. So it was an amazing session. So moving on from that, I think I'll just take you from it, but first I would just like to introduce myself and tell the audience here about my journey. I have immense admiration and respect for the young minds who are probably the future innovators and entrepreneurs of and being part of the vision actually makes me extremely energized. Like the Gen Z would say, the virus sort of electric, right? I would just like to touch upon a few snippets of my professional journey of being part of the corporate world for almost close to a decade and a half now, and how tech has played a role in shaping that journey, and how moving on to my current industry that I'm part of the digitization and health scale. So starting this journey, I graduated out of college in mid 2009, and I joined HSBC as a teller in the branch banking division. For those of you who are not aware what a teller does, teller is an employee who has responsibility for handling customer cash, receivable instruments, etc., etc. So after 1 year of sort of dealing with customers, angry customers day in and day out, while trying to resolve their money matters every now and then in the bank, it sort of taught me resilience and how important it is to know your customer and how important it is to be close to your customer. Now, if we put that in context today, right, we have several fintechs serving customers across across the industries, and now the transactions happen actually at the click of a button. So, for example, if you have an HDFC account, you probably just look at your phone now and you have an app downloaded there and transfer money through it. So technology has become an integral part of our day-to-day life where on a click of a button things happen and info comes in or if I want to go from let's say an X to Y place or if I want to get a service done at my house, I probably get an urban plan to provide me that. So I think technology has transformed the way we live, the way we interact with each other, and the way our choices are being molded, right? So moving back to my journey, when I got an opportunity from HSBC to work with one of the biggest management consultancies of the world, that's McKinsey. In McKinsey, I was part of different finance profiles, from compliance to tax to FP&A, financial planning and analysis for the firm. That was the last profile that I did. Where I actually did a lot of financial transformation, financial digital transformation for the firm. To make sure that we are equally equipped in terms of technology and improving in terms of how we look at data across at scale. So I think that definitely helped me to make faster decisions and leadership come to terms with what's happening quicker. And from there on, I moved to Lightspeed, which is for those of you who are not aware of what Lightspeed does, it's a top tier global venture fund in the country. We invest in very early stage startups, which are primarily tech-based. To put that in context, Lightspeed India particularly invested in 100 plus startups in India and Southeast Asia over the last decade, right? And with that, I would just go deeper into what Lightspeed India has been in the next 6 to 8 years. $6 trillion would be added to the Indian GDP, and this is an IMF forecast, right? And how will this happen? A lot of it will be dependent on the use of technology, on the use of AI, maybe trends in the industry, disrupting the industry, and India being one of the fastest growing economies of the world because of that. Now we also have rising income levels which will drive this growth, and how the income levels will be rising. Again, a lot of it will be coming through some of these startups that are working towards the betterment of the society, working towards ease of usage, ease of preferences for the country, and then making us better at what we do in our daily life. Then I think we all know that digitalization for India overall has also been like a big effort with government, putting in efforts to make sure that we have an internet infrastructure and access which is at scale. To put that in context, internet users a decade ago was about 354 million, versus today we are about 1 billion, right? And 97% of our population is already covered by Aadhaar, which is the digital identity, which also helps the government to promote plans at scale. Again, technology at its best, right? We have about 400 million eKYC happening per month. UPI, for that matter, has grown 3x in the last 3 years. Smartphone adoption has been phenomenal. Almost more than 70% of our population who have access to internet are using smartphones now these days. And the other government launch schemes like DigiLocker, ONDC, OHI, DigiYatra, all of these are making sure that we have a seamless interaction with technology. So, for example, just to put that in context, in DigiYatra, right, it's a and if you've not really experienced it, I think that's one phenomenal technology that has been introduced where you just need to go to the airport without getting a physical verification done. It's the same as entry to the airport, right? It takes a hell lot of time, and the user, I don't think anything can be better than that. So I think that's the impact of technology at scale. Even in cities which are tier 2 or tier 3, we have this innovation happening at scale because of technology. So earlier, where it was difficult to reach to certain areas due to connectivity, due to other physical factors, because of the growing internet penetration, there is the ability of the startups to actually kind of reach to these places, right? And to put that into context, if you look from the last 5 years, the funding, the funding for these startups, which are primarily tech-based across the tier 2, tier 3 ecosystem, have increased from about 10% to 25% today, versus if we compare it with tier 1 startups, which were always the house startup funding and technology-based funding. Some notable examples that I can think of right now is probably we can share that's a startup that came out from Jaipur, or Cardiff, or again a startup that came out from Jaipur. I'm not sure if a lot of people know that First Cry was a startup that started at Pune, and Wow was born in Kolkata. So some of these startups are actually coming from smaller towns and cities of India, which is the real India, and with the help of technology, we are making impact at scale. Moving on to certain sectors now, even not even cities, but different sectors in India that are opening up because of this shift in technology. So, for example, the defense and aerospace. Now we have more than 100 plus startups working in out of India for in the defense and aerospace sector. And thanks to the government in the last couple of years, the FDI rules have been eased out in this sector, where it was earlier not an automatic entry, and there was a restriction in the defense sector, but today we see that it's scaling beautifully. Then there's also healthcare that is getting transformed because of the startup that are originating. Some of the notable names are like Practo, PharmEasy, Tata 1mg. All of these are in the healthcare space where some of them actually help you deliver the most important medicines at your home, or probably helping you book appointments with relevant doctors. Apart from healthcare, I think the other big sectors that technology is helping scale is climate, semiconductors, electric vehicles. Now, for climate, if you look at it, right, there are again numerous startups in the clean tech space, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed this year's budget, but the government also has been very, very favorable in terms of making sure that clean technology or green technology is given enough weightage in the budget to make sure that it's growing, and it overall has a positive impact on the environment, because again, global warming is a big issue in today's world, which needs to be addressed, and what better than the government addressing it at that scale. Then I think semiconductors is another industry where technology is growing at scale. India is also sort of having multiple startups in this space who are working towards solving the manufacturing and other things with respect to the semiconductor industry. Mm. And then finally, electric vehicles. I think EV is one big sector where a lot of innovation is happening. Um, you probably see companies like Smart, which is basically a cab, a cab provider featuring electric solutions. And then there are companies like Exponent, which are providing battery swapping services again in the EV space. Like Ola Electric, there's Apple, so there are a lot of examples of EVs that are making positive impact in our lives day in and day out, and again transforming the technology altogether. Now, my previous speaker touched on AI touching different sectors in terms of different use cases. I would also just like to touch upon a little bit of how AI is impacting gaming, content, social networks, or EdTech for that matter. And improving respective efficiencies of those sectors by manifold. So, for example, gaming, we have startups like MPL, Team11, Toast. All of them are using AI to, increase the efficiency, reduce cost, and making sure that we are building on games based on consumer preferences. Content, again, there's Pocket FM, there's Showpal, there's Page. These are some notable startups which are working towards, content that probably would be choice of the user in today's day and age. Then social networks like ShareChat, Facebook, Insta, all of these are actually using AI. Again, AI algorithms to make sure that the users are getting what they would like to view or what they would like to see. And then in EdTech, there are startups like Vedant, Similar, University, working towards making courses which are relevant to today's generation. And, for example, Similar is a startup that basically helps in English language learning without actually, letting the user or a teacher, directly teaching the students versus an AI bot teaching the English language based on the capabilities of the learner, and then again modifying it accordingly. So I think AI is definitely going to bring there's a lot of interest in the space. There's a lot of funding that we are also doing in terms of making sure that we tap this trend early on. To put that in context, Lightspeed has funded recently one of the biggest startups in India that is basically functioning in the AI space called Sarvam. Sarvam is basically a large language model company, and it is it is being founded by one of the founders who's Vivek, who's uh, was part of the Aadhaar family, and he was one of the chief architects, in Aadhaar, doing the digitization through Aadhaar that government had in place. So, Sarvam is again building these large language models which are native to Indian languages. Now, while ChatGPT would help you write content or give you answers in English language, but Sarvam would help to do that in like local languages, and it's scaling its technology at a rapid pace. So that's one example. Another one that I want to just touch base upon is Cryonics. Cryonics is in healthcare, and it's helping optimize some of the healthcare issues that are currently being faced by our country. So it's using AI to do research into unique healthcare issues, and optimizing them, and then recommending solutions to the hospitals on one end, and recommending further research to research institutes on the other end. So it's sort of balancing out both and making sure that healthcare issues are being taken care of with the help of AI. Then I think lastly, I would just like to touch upon the trend of the last 20 years of how technology has evolved. So we started with the internet cycle, which was when the likes of Microsoft, Salesforce, Google actually came into play. And now, if you see that cycle is showing signs of peaking, or what that means is that it's end of the internet, sort of the end of the internet cycle, with a lot of companies, that are part of the internet cycle, and now moving on to the new phase that will reshape the whole software industry from the internet to the AI cycle. And all of our existing companies, all of our existing software, these startups will probably move to this sort of an AI cycle where the cost of delivery, the cost of business software, the cost of intelligence will actually go down, and because of AI being the supreme trend that it is today. And with that, I would just like to thank everyone for inviting me for this session, and I would just like to pause here and take any questions if there are.
Ma'am?
Thank you, Ankita Joshi ma'am, for your valuable insights on EV and the changing economic scenario.
So I will just give that to the host, Neha. So thank you so much once again. It was a wonderful conference.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ankita Joshi ma'am, for the invaluable insight about the changing economic perspective and scenario. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce our next distinguished speaker, Mr. Rishabh Jethwani. He is a vice president in data science at Goldman Sachs, one of the world's leading investment bank and financial services company. His expertise in data science and analytics has been instrumental in driving key strategic initiatives and innovation at Goldman Sachs. Mr. Jethwani completed his B.Tech from Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, where he laid the foundation for his technical expertise. He further honed his skill by earning a master's degree in business analytics, equipping him with advanced analytical capabilities and business acumen necessary to excel in the dynamic world of finance. At Goldman Sachs, Mr. Jethwani has been at the forefront of leveraging data science to enhance decision-making processes, optimize operations, and deliver impactful solutions across the various domains. His deep understanding of data analytics and its application in financial services has made him a valuable asset to the organization and thought leader in the field. I would request everyone to give a virtual round of applause for Mr. Jethwani. Over to you, sir.
Hey, I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible. You can continue.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Neha, for letting me in. My name is Justin Jaipal. I am a part of the Goldman Sachs Center on Data Analytics team. Just as a startup, I have been in this particular industry, which is this analytics, assurance, as well as compliance related industry since the last 5 years. In total, I have 10 plus years of experience, work experience. So the agenda of my particular presentation today would be around the following topics. Just before that, I would actually like to call out a few housekeeping aspects. Now, the way I've actually created or constructed this PPT is not very heavy in respect to, any sort of, from a design perspective, it is not very heavy in respect of what all elements would be actually going on in the presentation. So I'm not a very big fan of PPTs, and so I've tried to create it as simple as possible. And I've just kept a lot of talking points over here so that it becomes easier for everyone to comprehend. This particular session actually reminisces me back to my IP university days, wherein I, likewise you as well, was a part of my undergrad. As I mentioned, over the course of next 30 minutes, we'll be definitely discussing about how exactly business and data analytics is actually disrupting the overall industry and its overall implication on the audit sector as well, not just audit, assurance, compliance, as well as risk as a function. We'll also go through my particular journey, which I've actually had over the course of last 10 years in terms of overall work, where exactly I was created earlier and how it can land up in this particular industry, and change as a fundamental concept, how exactly is it shaping up the overall human life. The change could very well be associated to, let's say, your life, your career aspirations, or for that matter, any technology which is disrupted. So to start off with, I'll capture the very essential thing which I find out has been captured by most of the speakers today. That is analytics, or for that matter, the advanced analytics or the artificial intelligence. How is that shaping up the overall industries? Now, at the heart of it heard the previous speaker as well, and even before that, there was this good session which was conducted on the AI space. Heard that it is transforming the tourism industry. Now, I know that a lot of you have already undergone various courses in your undergrad degrees around business analytics. Just to recapitulate, what exactly does that mean? Each and every organization's fundamental aspiration is to solve for various business problems which they are otherwise not able to. So, for example, as an organization which is, let's say, sitting in logistics, their primary goal is to solve for a problem which is more towards an optimization of aspects. For example, they want to migrate goods from one place to another, and they want to solve this particular problem. The way that it had been approached in prior years is basically organizations tend to latch on to SMEs or subject matter experts who have a know-how of what exactly these problems are, and their decisions were actually driven by the judgment or by the bias that they had based on some prior experience that they've already sort of working across various projects or working across various such processes. Another example could be, let's say I am a platform which is, let's say, for food delivery. My biggest essential optimization problem could be, let's say, who exactly is the nearest rider I should tag that order to, so that I can overall minimize the cost as well as make my customer experience at to the fullest. Another bunch of problems could be around the e-commerce related platform wherein I just want to get an order delivered to a customer by addressing a various number of problems. These problems could be what exactly is, or what rather, who exactly are the bunch of my best buying customers, so that I can target a specific bunch of products which I'm, let's say, launching on my particular platform. And for that matter, for my recommended customers as well, or for that matter, my select customers as well, what exactly should be the best product that I need to pitch in so as to increase my revenue. There could be another bunch of problems that we could have from, let's say, the pharma and integrated industries as well. I, as a pharma company, is going to launch some sort of clinical trial so as to test my drug's efficacy. And I want to have a list or a pool of people against which I can actually test this drug. Again, the essential function over here being minimize the overall risk as well as to maximize the overall gain. Now, to the heart of it, I think all of the problems are actually addressing to one single goal. That is, what exactly is this question that is needed to be asked? As undergrads, I think as business undergrads particularly, I know AI analytics be both on the front of data as well as business analytics are actually causing a lot of disruption. But having said that, there is this essential requirement to understand and address what sort of questions are required to be asked. So essentially, a business analyst's roles and responsibility typically lies with asking or curating these bunch of questions that are to be addressed. As you can see on this particular slide as well, I, as a business analyst, should ask, and these are the questions that you should ask as a business analyst. Again, there are tools, there are paradigms, there are forums which can actually help you address or get the answers. But at the crux of it, the essential idea is what exactly should be asked. That's the idea that you should really as a business analyst. Going back to the next slide, we have something as how exactly business and data analytics work together. Now, to answer the question that we had from previous slide, for example, you have this Swiggy related problem or a food vendor related problem, wherein you want to get food items delivered to your customers, and you are actually trying to solve for the same problem. So the essential question can be broken down into any of these 6 different problems, or rather these segments that we actually have. The problem could very well be belonging to, let's say, a forecasting related problem, text mining related problem, text analytics related problem, or data mining related problem, text analytics related problem, visualization, statistics, and optimization. The question or the problem that we spoke of in the food delivering application is more towards this optimization, wherein we are trying to get a food delivered to the customer in a stipulated time. Any of our data analytics or business analytics problem can be broken down into this 6 broad, concepts that are actually laid over here. What all could be the problems that we can actually solve in the forecasting space? Let's say I, in the real estate space, want to forecast how exactly my prices for a given area should be shooting or for that matter going down in the near future. In data mining, the classic examples could be, I think everybody has smartphones with themselves, and then they can see like if at all they pick up the smartphone and look at it, the phone unlocks by itself, right? So all this facial recognition, doing some sort of an analytics or machine learning on top of your data to understand and also answer a bunch of questions comes under this gambit of data mining. Next comes the category of text analytics. I, as let's say a platform called as text, or for that matter, uh, I, as a platform as Meta, I have a lot of textual related data. I have a lot of post related data. I need to make out some sense out of it. All these aspects. For example, uh, yesterday we had that match, right? We had that match for RCB. I mean, we had that match for RCB versus Rajasthan Royals. In that particular thing, what we wanted to understand is the fanatic that is actually drawn towards RCB is it having some sort of a bias towards player within that particular team, or people by and large are actually wanting RCB as a team to collectively win. So since we have a lot of blog related data, we have a lot of post related data on such avenues, we can actually tap into it to drive some sort of a text analytics. Next, visualization. Visualization is nothing. As a presenter, as a domain expert, I actually need to bring about these facts to my stakeholders or my SMEs. For that, I need to latch onto a reporting tool wherein I can actually construct all these facts that I've already documented in some sort of framework so that it is easier for other person to as well understand. Classic example, in case of let's say credit card, everybody, and most of you would have definitely have a debit or a credit card. So let's say there have been some sort of a spiked transaction which is not in line to the overall transaction history that you kind of have for that particular product financial instrument. So it gives you an instant email or an SMS, right? That seems like this trading activity or for that kind of transactions, it looks like it is suspicious. So for all such drafting mechanism, one can actually create a visualization tool to see how exactly they are shaping up. Next, as I mentioned, this graph effectiveness testing would come under this ambit of statistics, wherein you are just comparing two drugs with each other, just to see like what exactly is the drug which is efficacious and what exactly is the population or the sample that you have tested it against. Optimization we have already discussed. Now, tying this particular notion of data analytics and business analytics to the overall risk, compliance, and internal audit spaces, I am tying all these three different, forums together, which is compliance, risk, and audit. Auditors, or as a concept, is called assurance, is needed to many organizations. So, why do they need internal audit? And within internal audit as well, why is data analytics, initiated as a concept within many organizations? So, by and large, all these internal and external audit firms, external audit firms, for example, let's say Deloitte, KPMG, all the big fours which are out there, and even the internal audit segments that were residing within an organization, largely dependent on their native approach, which was basically testing out a few controls. These controls that they tested for were limited to only a sample selection. They want to expand their horizon, and instead of testing a control on sample basis, they want to capture the overall population of the data that is sitting, so that there is no data pointer which is kind of missed. And in order to capture that, if there had been any abnormality, when exactly did that happen, and who exactly has spread that particular abnormality, if everything needs to be captured, you need to perform the 100% sample size. Having said that, as I mentioned, the statistics, or for that matter, any of the ML approach which was residing way back, I think all the statistic approach, or for that matter, these models have been trained way back in 1800s and 1900s. Then why exactly are these being this advent now? It's just because not just the algorithms have come to the fore. It's also because of the compute power. If you look at the overall cost of semiconductors, it is declining year on year, as well as people acquiring the overall skills around machine learning and AI is also increasing. So it is not just that these algorithms or these frameworks have been created now or have been created overnight. This is that the semiconductor, or for that matter, the infrastructure which are actually requiring, the GPUs and CPUs which are actually requiring you to facilitate or orchestrate all such analytics related exercise are now being recognized by various organizations, and there is a lot of money which is actually going behind the scenes to orchestrate such platforms. So to deal with this, we need, as I mentioned, we would audit using analytics to test the overall controls through the 100% population. Be more efficient in terms of auditing controls. Again, not just from a completeness viewpoint, or for that matter, having adoption to this 100% population size which I just stated, you are also becoming efficient. For example, you are conducting an audit which is to assess a particular control in this particular area, and tomorrow, 2 years down the line, you still find, or you're wanting to validate the same control, and in the erstwhile process which was there, I think one would actually have to revisit all the samples, all the controls together. By setting up data analytics, they can set up pipelines which they can revisit after, let's say, a period of 2 years, 3 years. All these automated processes would eventually lead up to the same testing. And if at all there still happens to be some sort of a gap, they can address to those. Develop and deploy continuous monitoring. Now, as I mentioned, audits could be specific to a space. For example, as I mentioned, a control which is to be assessed by a control owner or an auditor. Having said that, I may not look at the same particular control, let's say, till the closure of 2 years down the line. But still, in that horizon of 2 years, I still want to see what exactly are the abnormalities that could be causing on that particular control. And I just want to have a far sight on it instead of dwelling onto it much. I just want to have a far sight so as to see like how exactly this control is shaped up. If at all there is some remediation being done upon it, how exactly is it shaping up? So for capturing all of these aspects, before I'm actually touching upon that particular control from an audit lifecycle viewpoint, I need to have a continuous monitoring regime set up. Increase visibility to internal and external risks. Now, this industry, I mean, as I can vouch for the banking and financial industry, the industry is very volatile. Every now and then we have new sort of risks that are actually emerging. So in order to mitigate not just the internal risks that we actually have, which are inherited by belonging to a certain industry, the external risks as well. For example, there could be a lot of attacks on an organization from external stakeholders. There could be several factors which decide on how exactly an organization is going to perform from an external lens as well. So to mitigate all such risks and to create some sort of a streamlined aspect so that these risks could be mitigated, you definitely need analytics, and analytics required in internal audit space. Again, the idea that we want to bring about, as the next point says, you're not just liable, or your liability is not just put to your internal stakeholders. Even the external stakeholders can very well rely upon the tools that you're developing in, let's say, audit assurance, or for that matter, any compliance stuff, so that one can actually come in and look at it. Classic example, there is this bank in India called as an Axis Bank. They are having their own setup with respect to internal audit. Now tomorrow, RBI, or for that matter, SEBI wants to come into Axis Bank, and then they just want to see if at all there is some malpractice which is continuing in one of the departments at Axis Bank. Instead of looking at the department, they will try to see any audit report that has been issued by the internal function, that is the internal audit of Axis Bank, and then try to take that as a testament to confirm if at all the malpractice is a clear stated picture of Axis Bank, or I mean, just to be concise over here, they just try to see a third vision by taking into consideration the report which has already been issued by internal audit of Axis Bank. Now, this can only be possible if internal audit of Axis Bank itself has created an exhaustive report which captures all the data pointers, all the evidences have been captured very thoroughly over there. So that's the essential idea that I wanted to bring, that any audit function typically relies upon data analytics to bring about an exhaustive report, which is not just crucified for their own department or for their own firm, but even a third party or regulator can actually come in and can be very much comfortable using it. Now, to facilitate any sort of a data analytics program within audit, or for that matter, not just audit, any of the functions within an organization, the steps which are actually required typically crucify into these 5 blocks that we actually have to run some sort of an analytics, or not just analytics. I mean, that I say analytics, it could be some plain business rationale which one business auditor needs to bring about. They essentially need to have accessibility to the data itself, right? One cannot just go ahead and just make plain simple decisions without actually getting it back from data. So in order to have a pipeline or for that matter some decisioning instrument created, you need to have it. You have a data pipeline which is required to set up. So that is where I call it get. You need to get the data. By getting the data, we are already tapping into that particular notion that getting access to data itself means we are getting access to complete and accurate data. In organization, I mean, you all would be familiar to, let's say latch onto a data which is let's say present on Lead4 or for that matter, any of the online platforms which are actually available. Classic example, people to test their hands typically download data which is actually present across these online forums, download it, perform their analysis, and then they feel very proud about it. Like, hey, I can solve for a given problem using so and so machine learning algorithm to so and so data. But that's not how an organization typically works. When I say getting the data, an organization has various divisions within it. Within divisions as well, there are so many departments which are actually working in silos, and you're not anytime assured that the data that you're tapping into is complete, is accurate, or for that matter, is not stale. So when I say getting data, the data that you're tapping into should be complete, accurate, fresh enough, so that you have a support or you have an evidence backing it up that your reports are accurate and it's typically or correctly capturing all the controls. This do and think bracket, the next 2 buckets or the next 2 blocks, the do and think bucket is where one's skill and acumen comes in, wherein if they are going by the legacy, if they go through this legacy way of doing things, they can easily go to some rule-based kind of scenarios wherein, let's say, a business analyst would come in and mention that, hey, if A, B, and C together happen, we need to make a judgment D. Or for that matter, they can take machines advantage, use some algorithms on top of it, and they can rely upon the machines to come up with this finally, created kind of metrics. So do and think these 2 brackets are, these 2 buckets are kept in separate brackets because it depends on what exactly are the route we are taking it to. But essentially the idea is that either a rule-based system or for that matter, any machine is able to solve this particular problem, analyze it. In case of an audit setup, though I mentioned that the machine itself or human intervention would itself be sufficient to actually solve for the do and think related aspect, but we need to validate it. Any of the outcome which is come, let's say from an analytics viewpoint to my machine, I cannot just straight away deploy it and use it for my future reference as well. I need to back it up with something. I need to validate it first. So typically in case of compliance, assurance and audit, we need to analyze the results that we are actually getting so that we can at least be clarified that the algorithm or for that matter, the data we have used is complete and accurate. Okay, so I'll diverge your thought towards one of the classic examples that we actually had as a part of internal audit. This internal audit problem that we actually had at hand was basically catering to one of the arms within our organization, Goldman Sachs, that is retail banking. In this particular case, what happened is we have outsourced one of our businesses, that is retail banking customer service businesses, to one of our vendors. Now, the problem over here is we had a little speculation with respect to the functioning of that particular vendor, and we wanted to establish that the customer service engine, or for that matter, a mechanism which is required by the customers to log in the complaints is not accurate enough. For example, the customer's complaint or grievance that is posted on that forum may be tagged to something, let's say, classic example. The customer may be putting their complaints with respect to statements, but our platform, or for that matter, the vendor's platform, was tagging it to something else instead. So what we wanted to do is, through audit, we wanted to challenge the setup or the infrastructure which the vendor has, and we going by the notion that we do not have these taggings upfront with us. We we did not want to take those tags or classifications at face value, and instead we wanted to bring about some sort of an aspect or some sort of a thematic understanding which complete data itself wanted to picture. So customer complaints, as I mentioned, these would be very voluminous. So we had close to 200K complaints over there. One, I mean, if we had to go by the classic auditing, classic way of doing audit, one would actually pick, let's say, 100 or 200 odd samples from that particular purpose of, let's say, 200K complaints. And then they would actually come and mention that, hey, I am actually having my comfort looking at these 200 complaint pointers. And this is good enough to actually extrapolate on the larger picture. This is the 200 complaints. But we wanted to challenge the status quo over there. We wanted to test it on the overall population, which is the idea that I wanted to break about from the previous slide. What we did is, and as I mentioned, we are not even taking into account any of the tagging which are pre-created or created by the vendor themselves. We use an algorithm which is, or rather a machine learning approach, which is topic modeling, to bring about themes. Again, as I mentioned, the essential problem which one might have from a business analyst point of view, from a data analyst point of view, would essentially point out to those 6 pillars that we initially spoke of, right? So this boiled down to that text analytics block that we spoke of earlier. The other use cases which also are a part of audit and are very close to me since I've been working upon it for some time is basically, as an organization, you also want to see your overall expense, your overall cost, and if at all somebody is making some misuse of it. So we have developed a platform which actually uses in a lot of our data, which is in-house data, that is the employees spend related data, and we're calling it as GTE, like give, travel, and expenses, just to monitor if someone as an organization is actually misusing their funds to actually go ahead and make spends across programs, which they ideally should not. Transaction surveillances. This is a very classic, not just Goldman Sachs, but any organization would actually have, any banking and financial organization would have some sort of an engine developed on top of transaction surveillance. So in internal audit, we have developed our own native transaction surveillance or transaction monitoring system as well, which takes into account all the transaction related data which has happened. I mean, we are tapping into all the transactions retrospectively. And then what we are trying to assess is if at all there have been any red flags in, which were kicked off in the past, is our tool as well corresponding to the same, or if the previously developed tool is not, capturing all of the transactions and alerting some sort of a breach which has happened from a surveillance viewpoint. Access and entitlements. Now, in any organization, people will have access to a lot of things with respect to, having physical accesses, virtual accesses. Through IA, we just want to establish that all the accesses or entitlements which have been provisioned to our employees are correct in nature. There is not any single person who is actually having any of the entitlements which they ideally should not have. The next point that comes to my mind is this: know your vendor or know your third party. An organization is largely dependent, not just dependent on their employees. As I mentioned, we also outsource a lot of our activities, for example, in your colleges as well. Let's say this cafeteria related activity or the cafeteria related setup is outsourced to some sort of a vendor. So when you're onboarding a vendor to your organization, you need to ensure that they are actually complying to a lot of norms. So this comes to this particular area, let's say third party. That's what it is stated, right? Know your third party, KYC. Similarly, you would also have in banking and financial, it's all the more reason to actually have a customer related, know your customer related aspect as well covered in a banking and financial organization, just so that you're not onboarding any client who may at a later point in time, let's say delinquent turn, let's say a fraud. Deployments, whatever applications that are deployed in an organization, you need to check them back if at all these deployments which have happened are actually happening at a correct point in time. There are no failures. If at all there have been failures, the adequate workloads take off and then the action was taken. Conduct and supervision. Each as a part of it, it's a very critical and imperative function of internal audit to holistically see each and every department and just try to see, let's say I sit in India right now.
Yeah.
I am assessing from an audit lens, I am assessing one of the departments which is in US. I just want to establish From a conduct and supervision viewpoint, everything is actually happening appropriately in that particular department. Now, what all metrics that we get from a business auditors, from a business analyst lens, again, let's try to think what all metrics we can cover over there. You can see the people who are actually belonging to that particular department from a supervision viewpoint. These people are actually logging into their respective desks at a given point in time, leaving at a given point in time, completing their training, their overall performance, their compensation, all you want to see, all these indexes you want to see from a conduct and supervision point of view, right? So IA largely many of the organizations and especially banking and financial organizations typically focus on these areas. There are other areas as well, but they typically focus upon these particular areas to check data from an audit viewpoint. Okay, now I think I highlighted a bit about this earlier as well. Each of the presentations that we actually had before that spoke about how exactly advanced AI is actually shaping up with their respective spaces. Now, as a use case which is actually happening from an advanced AI perspective within Goldman Sachs, both from an audit, I'll cover both an audit use case and a non-audit use case. So within internal audit as well, one of the use cases that we are actually targeting to solve is, okay, one thing that I actually wanted to bring about is audit department, as I mentioned, are required to be deterministic with respect to their data. Like any of that brings us to the particular analyze block that we spoke of earlier, right? In that overall workflow of the analytics that we have in IA. So we have to be deterministic. So any of the outcomes that we're producing, any which way requires some sort of a manual intervention to get it. So essentially in audit at Goldman Sachs, what we're trying to solve for in the IA space is to solve a problem which is more around the reporting construct. Now, for each of these audits, just give me a minute, sorry. I'll switch off my camera because my battery is low. Okay. Now, for each of these audits, there are auditors who are actually developing their respective reports as well. And through Gen AI, what we want to solve is we want to automatically create these reports instead of one auditor requiring or needing, feeling the need to actually create these reports. Whatever evidence that they want to transfer to pick it up in, let's say, next audit life cycle, they can use largely rely upon these engines that we are trying to create to automate and curate these reports. The other use case that I actually have in mind from a non-audit perspective is basically there's a division within Goldman Sachs that is the GIA, Global Investment Research. What they typically do is, so there is this, forum in Goldman Sachs which is called as the Asset and Wealth Management, in which Goldman Sachs provides its services to the high net worth individuals by sending them out periodic reports and periodic posts mentioning that hey, this product seems to be lucrative and increasing exposure in the market. Why don't you just go ahead and put your money? So what GIR or Global Investment Research Group is trying to solve is they are, instead of one requiring to build these reports which are sent to our clients, they are automating everything. So they are inputting all these data pointers from Bloomberg and curate these reports and sending across to their clients. If I have to talk about purely of the volumes, there are close to 300,000 reports that are generated overnight and being sent using this GenAI model that we have in GIA. So I just wanted to cover the overall landscape from an audit viewpoint and how exactly you as business analysts, should think more broadly in terms of what should be the step up from your current way of thinking. So we started off somewhere, just to recap, we started off somewhere from, let's say, a business analyst who has a few bunch of questions in their mind. We migrated onto something which is, let's say, business analytics, getting the tracking of data. We also spoke of how exactly business and data analytics work in tandem and use the state-of-the-art technology that is generative AI, or for that matter, AI, to actually reach their goals. The last point which I actually wanted to cover is little segue. It has nothing to do with the aspect that we covered thus far. It is more towards the change. Okay, so this is something which people will actually relate to. Now, any of the technology, any of the life events, any of the career aspirations that you have may not land up to your liking. It may or may not. So, a lot of times in your careers going forward, you will find yourself stranded in a situation wherein you feel that things are actually stepping off and they are not happening in accordance to what you had expected them to be. This could be well tied to, let's say, career, as I mentioned. This could well tied to your life as a whole, well tied to the technology, if you're enthusiast in your particular space, or for that matter, you go ahead and do your respective, let's say, master degrees within MBA as well. You might be doing it, let's say, logistics. Tomorrow you land up on government operations. You might be doing it in, let's say, you might be pursuing your MBA in, let's say, HR. You land up in, let's say, finance. So there could be times wherein you find yourself stranded, as I mentioned, and things may not happen as per your liking. So that transition, which actually is required for you to facilitate the overall change, is something that will go or follow this particular change path. Any of the change which comes into our life, it goes through this particular path. First, it is a human tendency to actually go into a state of denial or shock. Any change, it happens in your relations also, right? If at all there happens to be something which comes in front of you and which is not as per your liking, you will definitely go in a state of denial. Second is a state which is a state of disruption, which is a little better than a state of denial, but still you would be finding yourself a little agitated, like why exactly things are not happening a certain way than I had actually wanted to. Third stage is basically the exploration stage, in which you will try to seek out opportunities wherein how exactly if at all I have to embrace this particular change, how exactly I can explore various avenues through which I can as well be benefited through this particular change. And last is this rebuilding aspect, wherein once you embrace this particular change, your overall character, personality rebuild starts happening. Why did I integrate with this particular slide with the overall picture which I actually had? Is just to capture two different parts over here. One is a technology that I think by and large each of these speakers or myself have spoken of right now will definitely go on some sort of a change in the near future as well. Tomorrow, let's say you guys go through your postgrads, or for that matter, you are getting hands-on in the industry. There could be some sort of another disruption that may come up, and then we need to be adaptive for that perspective thing as well. The second option which I actually wanted to capture is for my own journey as well. Where in my own journey, the place where I am in, the organization where I am, and the role where I am in, all had to go through some sort of a grind, all had to go through some sort of a change in the beginning, and I actually embraced all these changes which came in on my way. With that, thank you everyone for being a very patient audience.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful knowledge. Now, I would like to invite Head of Management Department, Professor Dr. Renu Sharma ma'am, for valedictory session. Have a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone, dear guests, participants, and faculty members. I am delighted to deliver the valedictory address for today's international conference on technology integration in management, enhancing efficiency and innovation, organized by IITM in collaboration with Career Launcher and Sensotech Private Limited. The idea of this conference was conceived in the month of December 2023 by IQAC coordinator in consultation with the director. The theme of the conference was aligned to the vision of our Prime Minister, Viksit Bharat, whereby all citizens of the country are invited to contribute their ideas and perspectives in shaping the Viksit Bharat by 2047. This conference is touching the technology aspect in making the Bharat Viksit. In the inaugural session of the conference, the guest of honor, Dr. S.P. Sharma, Chief Economist, PhD Chambers, talked about the state of Indian economy and geopolitical condition. He emphasized that we should invest more in agriculture sector to boost up the manufacturing base. The keynote speaker, Mr. Santanu Patnaik, talked about generative AI, the future of productivity. Sir defined generative AI and explained it. He also told that it is going to change our thought process. He also told about the components of the generative AI. The guest speaker of the session, Dr. Idamati Kaur, Ontario, Canada, deliberated on use of AI in recruitment, rewards, and challenges. She explained the AI tools like Nia and Hireway, which are used for scheduling and assessing interview by analyzing facial expression. The chief guest of the session, Shri Kaustubh Rajputji, Assistant Director, Ministry of Mines, talked about the role of technology in Viksit Bharat, and it is up to us as a citizen of our country to use it effectively. The first speaker of the second session, Dr. Monica Chaudhary, Associate Professor, SP Jain Global School of Management, talked about the future of AI in management. She explained the component and types of AI and how AI can be used in decision making, like automation of routine tasks, enhanced decision making, improved operational efficiency, and predictive analysis. The second speaker of the second session is Ankita Joshi, Vice President, Lightspeed India Partners, highlighted the remarkable journey of India in the field of digitization. Mr. Rishabh, Audit Analyst, Goldman Sachs. The third speaker of the session presented on analytics for audit. He explained how a business problem can be broken down into small elements to solve it with the help of analytics. He also told the audit analytics model. Approximately 70 papers were presented in 5 different tracks of the conference by academicians, researchers, and students from various colleges of IIT University and Delhi University, out of which 25 papers were received from different universities of Bangladesh, Kerala, Punjab, Gujarat, Mumbai, and Goa. All the accepted papers will be published in the form of conference proceeding, and few selected papers will be published in the special issue of UGC Care Listing Journal, Journal of Business Studies, JBS. Overall, the conference was a grand success. That's all from myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your such an inspiring and concluding the session. Now, I would like to invite the co-convener, Dr. Seema Chaudhary, ma'am, for a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee, I, Dr. Seema Chaudhary, would like to express my gratitude to the esteemed participants of this conference as we draw this enriching session of the International Conference on Technology Integration in Management, Enhancing Efficiency and Innovation, ICTIM 2024, to a close. It's my great pleasure to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our chief guest, Sri Kaustubh Rajput sir, guest of honor, Dr. S.P. Sharma sir, in absentia. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and guiding us through the complexity of management education in a tech-driven world. Next, I extend a sincere thanks to our keynote speakers, Mr. Shantanu Patnaik sir, Dr. Amit Kaur ma'am, Dr. Monica Chaudhary ma'am, Ms. Ankita Joshi ma'am, and Mr. Rishabh Jetwani sir. Your presentation highlight the critical intersections of technology, offering valuable insights that we can apply to improve our practices in the field of finance, HR, IT, and audit analytics. Your real-world experience and forward-thinking perspective have provided us with a deeper understanding of how technology can drive financial innovation within growth. We appreciate your willingness and to share your expertise and experience, which has undoubtedly enriched our conference. In conclude, on behalf of the organizing committee and all the participants, I once again thank our keynote speakers, chief guest honors, chief guests and guest of honors, and sponsor career launchers for the efforts and insights have significantly enhanced the quality of discussion and have inspired us to embrace technology to our management practices with renowned vigor and creativity. I would also wish to express my sincere gratitude to our director ma'am, Dr. Monica Gulshrestha ma'am, for her visionary leadership and unwavering support, and to our head of the management department, Dr. Renu Sharma ma'am, for her insightful guidance. A special thanks goes to our organizing team comprising of Dr. Mohita Mathur ma'am, Neha Gupta ma'am, Isha Gupta ma'am, and other faculty members and technical session members, whose meticulous planning and seamless executions have ensured an engaging a smooth experience for all participants. Your dedication and hard work behind the scenes have been crucial. To our esteemed guests, faculty members, and students, thank you all for your active participation and enthusiasm. Your engagement and thoughtful contribution have made this session interactive and impactful. As we conclude today, let us carry forward the spirit of collaboration, innovation, excellence, and inspiration gained. May the idea exchange here continue to inspire us to push the boundaries of what is possible and create a bright future for all. Thank you, all of you. We look forward to continue this important conversation and collaboration in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Now, we are ending the session. You all can leave. Thank you so much.